Alright, let's get started again. Where did we leave off? Well, the eternal grind for foam. We probably need to go get some water first, I guess. Let's go over to the ye old bagman with the rock. We're going for water wars. Lost cash is fine. You're fine too. That's the one we actually want. A light in the dark. We could bring cigarettes in, but we probably just don't want to bother with that. Let's see. Sure. 3 is fine. We'll just here for water wars. Good dire. What? Silenced rifle? Alright, RPK is fine. We'll bring an emergency shotgun too, just in case. Do I have the drum mag for you yet? I don't. Okay. Emergency shotgun, just with a few rounds, or a few shells rather. 7.62, we don't need a whole lot here. Just an extra 100 rounds is fine. Actually, just 95 for that. And a few meds. You cost a drone, you don't. Let's not use a drone here. So assuming we do everything, we should net, like, basically, I think around 13 to 14 water off this.
Let's roll out. Got a ton of work before we sleep.
Now, the only problem is I have to remember what Elephant Mausoleum is. I want to say it's this one on the far left, if I remember this tile set. Let's go find out. God, Pac-Man is so goddamn slow. I like how his sprint is more just like a camera zoom out than an actual speed up. It's the illusion of going faster just by just panning up the camera a bit. Right, down we go. The cursed cable. Major, how's it going? It's gonna be over here to the right, if I recall. I just don't remember which one it actually is. I hope this is Elephant. Hey, Snowman. Welcome. Just getting started here, starting out getting some water, because we're like on 20 water right now, so let's get some reserves going. Just a teeny tiny bit. Yeah, I'm doing well. Continuing the eternal grind for foam. Alright, what are you gonna be? Please be the Alpha Mausoleum. Thank Christ. Okay, my memory is not that bad. I have recalled where this one goes to.
Don't lose track out here.
Alright, now we need to go get water.
Easy to get lost.
Lots and lots of water. Really just enough to like sustain us for a few runs as we go to Tunnel C, Tunnel D again. I think Tunnel C is 6 water if I recall, so this will get us basically 2 runs of going to Tunnel CD. Assuming we don't bring any water back, which we'll probably usually bring. I usually grab water on the way there if we're in Tunnel C. I mean, I think they kind of just need to refactor how they do loot, but Yeah. Like, there's a lot of issues with the looting in this game, and that's one of them. You can kind of tell, too, with how they, when they did the Tunnels update, they added a bunch of new items, I think, or either it was that or after Tunnels update, they added a bunch of new items. And you can tell from how they did it, they just basically just, like, they did it in a very, I would say, not, well, let me rephrase. It feels like they did it in a very, just like a get it in there, get it ready, and like get it shipped sort of way, as opposed to like maybe making it a bit more natural. It basically felt like they tacked on the new stuff to the old stuff, as opposed to adding the new stuff to the old stuff, if that makes sense. It's like if you're making a sandwich, you have like the first sandwich you make, right, is like the buns, the stuff on the inside, and the bun on top. The new stuff they added feels like they just added an extra layer of meat on top of the top bun. It technically still works, it just it's kind of messy. Let's gather our water. It's been pretty quiet in Elephant today, actually. ATG, how's it going? Alright. Here for the aqua.
Not too shabby.
God damn it. Well, there's a dog here. Well, actually, no, I'm not even above 2K on Mask Man, or this guy yet. Alright, with that being the case, we will not be doing med bay access. It is not worth our life. Unfortunately, it means we're gonna get less water overall. Ow.
Same as it ever was.
Go ahead and close the store. This is my safe room. I'm safe in here. I can't be hurt. I mean, I think that's probably the intent eventually. I don't see them adding the toys for no reason. So it's probably an if, not a when. But like, yeah. Hey Dubs, how's it going? Alright. I kind of have slots for 2 more water. Let me see if there's anything down here. I hear the pitter-patters of feet. Don't. I am very stealthy. Do not look at. Don't mind the big ass backpack. Just like hiding behind a wall, and you see the backpack sticking over. I am stealth. Fortunately, no large items over here. We can go around up here too and see if we get anything up there. Maybe. Oh, HKs. It's time to leave. They got upset I grabbed their water.
We're on the clock, people.
Well, maybe if you wanted me not to steal your water, you would actually guard it better. I know it's like the grimdark future, but being proactive in your defense is way better than being reactive. Back here.
I'm gonna sleep. Wake me when it's game time.
Alright, we didn't get a whole lot there, but we got our quest done, which is the most important thing. That gives us, like, I think 11 water, but minus our input of, like, I think 3. It's like about 8 water, which is enough for at least 1 run without going too low. Yeah, we have 28 water, which is enough for one run through. Back to Mask Man. Back to the rack, or back to the equipment runner, rather. Same setup. Let's buy some more ammo, though. Augment, like, oh, yeah, 100% for, like, special ops. Like, yeah, I think that's pretty... I mean, I think you can see it on Bagman, right? On one of his skins, he's got cybernetic arms. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's fairly canonical. Like, they also mentioned, like, some of their themes are cyberpunk, I think, also. So, like, in those type of animes. So, no, I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's quite a bit of, like, augmentations. I don't think they're, like... They're somewhat, like, I mean, I would say that you can see some of the European soldiers have a little bit, but by and large, I think the fancy stuff is all pretty, not rare per se, but reserved for, like, more elite soldiers. It definitely exists. The lower tech stuff is probably fairly common, but, like, the high tech stuff is probably, you know, pretty rare. Like, technically speaking, I'm guessing the canonical thing, it's not presented very well, but I have to assume that Shield Officer's face is like got like a fucking titanium skull underneath or something. Straight out, Master, sorry, Captain Shen.
Hard to breathe up here.
News in what regard? you know what I know, man. If you're on the Discord, you know what I know. I don't know fucking shit. I ain't got fucking nothing. I can't even do like hypotheticals or theoreticals. Like, we have an idea of what they're working on from their anniversary video, but even then, like, who the fuck says if they're beholden to that? I ain't got any fucking idea. Would spill what? The anniversary video stuff? That's unfortunate for Parp. Sorry to hear that. That's always annoying. Especially if it was already decorated too. Oh god. I desire foam. I guess in a way I desire black lights too, because black lights mean there's foam coming. I guess I should loot all of these just in case. For the off chance, it's because it's like this is part of the whole tacked on feeling, right? Like, it really doesn't feel like it should be in some of these containers. Like, you have a container called ammunition that's carrying a bunch of appended items to it. Doesn't feel right. All right. Brother, may I have some foam, please? Take Elmer's. Come on. Nope, no luck. Alright. Let's head this way first, so I can avoid the drones. Come on, slot machine. Give me what I want. Nope. Oh, I tried. I'll take the drill, why not? Brother, may I have some foam, please? That's the save point. I'm not gonna lie, the people who had the the tenacity, maybe is the right word for this, to when the bar came out, maybe they had foam stocked up, but the people who grinded the shit out of this for foam, man, props to you, because I don't think I could do it, man. I don't think I could do it. I guess you could just considering the change to tunnels, you could just throw on some music. Well, the only thing I expect next patch, check, is that they're gonna add some other thing to grind. I think that's their current plan, is just to slowly keep adding things to chase every single patch to help retention. I'm not sure if it's solely for retention purposes, but it definitely, considering how absurd the grind are for these things, and how it just keeps getting worse, it kind of just definitely makes me feel like it doesn't have a purpose outside of retention. I don't know why they need retention numbers though. That's the problem I'm failing to understand, right? Is if it's actually genuinely supposed to be this, not slow per se, but this plateauy to get to the things like the bar, is it is it actually for retention, or just because they just, oh, foam? No, I got lied to. I got fucking lied to. It's supposed to be, there was a black light that tricked me. Why would they need retention numbers? Is it some metrics for they have VC backers, right? And VCs, I'm not saying this is the case for them, it's impossible to know what the case is for them, but VC backers or VCs will generally not give you all the funds at once. They will release funds depending on metrics or depending on milestones. So I wonder if they have a metric milestone perhaps, and they're trying to achieve it or keep it up, so that they can get more funding, maybe? I don't know. I'm trying to logically justify why it feels like they're making things insanely grindy for the sake of what seems just to be grind. Hey Damien, how's it going? And it could just be that there's no logic to it. I'm trying to rationalize something that cannot be rationalized. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't have added progression if this is their take on progression, but it's another one of the instances where it just doesn't feel natural. It feels like it's tacked on.
Fill those pockets quick.
It doesn't feel very well thought out. It's the most, I don't know, it's just weird. Foam. So it seems to be the UV and the black light together that summons foam, maybe? But no, that's the only guess I have, is I'm not sure if it will be December patch or January. I'm assuming they're keeping monthly cadence since they don't. So I'm guessing it's gonna be another item for a grind. It's gonna be a new Innards building that does something that's going to cost a ton, and it's not gonna be progression related. It's gonna be more just fluff. Which is cool and all, but there's gonna be a point, I feel, eventually where a lot of your audience is gonna be okay, yeah, this is cool, but what's the fucking point? It honestly, in a way, this is going to be very uncharitable, so forgive me, but this is just where my headspace is right now in regards to making parallels. It reminds me kind of the dopamine loops you get in mobile games, right? Where you do something that is maybe fun. You're kind of questioning if it's fun or not, but then you get the reward. You're like, that the reward is cool. I'm okay with this. And then they just keep doing that over and over again until you get gassed out. Boom, boom. HKs still tend to break sometimes. Well, like the enemies have issues occasionally where like they'll aggro to something, but they won't be able to kill it, and so they'll just kind of get stuck. That happens with like the Stiltwalker all the time, right? The Stiltwalker will like get stuck on a tank basically where it can't kill it, but it can't not like move, so it just stands there. So I think still at their core, their base AI for like every unit is still just like walk close to unit and keep shooting it. And so eventually get to the point where it can't shoot it anymore, so they just kind of get stuck in a limbo. Thankfully, I mean, the sync kills do help alleviate that with the mechs. So I guess once they get the sync kills in, that should be fixed, knock on wood. Like, there's still a segment where, like, the mechs kiss when they're fighting, but, like, it doesn't last very long, at least. Oh, Fruit Par, I wonder if you did anything with there's a few different things if you do them that will basically mean you get HKs right off the rip. What's like if you do a few of like the Theaters of War things on maps, that will typically cause it. We have 2 foam so far. I would like more, please. We have like 28 right now. Nope. All right, well, I tried. It's the dead end time to go back. I wonder what, is it like a weight thing? There's like this weird issue occasionally with Maskman when he jumps. Like a normal jump like this, he will, maybe it's like a distance thing where he will like stagger, right? Like, see, just hold on. That time it's fine. That time it's not. Like, what's the difference between those two though? Is it distance? Is it like hang time? What's causing him to do... Why is it doing like, hold on. Yeah, it's just very weird. Like sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't do it. Like why is it suddenly, like what's the cause for it to like do it or not do it, right? It'd be one thing if it was doing it all the time, but it like the reason, I can't figure out the reason, like right there, right, it doesn't do it. Maybe if it's jumping higher. Hold on. That didn't slow me down either. I wonder if it's, no, that didn't do it either. What the hell? See, now it's fine. I think they've been adding them in now. They each have their own sync kills. I think they've been adding in more stuff like that to the individual characters over time. Because the one that Maskman has is still just like the basic bud, right? That every character's had. Now it's a bit faster than it was originally, but I think they did to all characters. By and large, the biggest thing though is right is like the melee locks your character in place, really, which is like the thing that is usually kind of annoying. All right, what map are you? All right, stairway. I don't want to play you, but I'm not going back either, so.
I don't have a good.
Well, this is a nice surprise. I hear cyborg, me no see cyborg. Now me see cyborg.
Eyes on us. Spread out.
Well, you can do it. Come on. I'll call you Gary. I wonder how long you can actually follow me for. Come on, Gary. Come on, Gary. Gary, we're going home, Gary. Come on. I mean, I still stream it. Making content is definitely probably too strong of phrasing. I stream the game. That's about the extent of it right now.
Don't miss.
Hey, no, you're not Gary. Fuck off. Come on, Gary. Hey, no, you're not Gary either. Sorry, Gary. It was self-defense. Come on back, Gary. Come on. Yeah. I mean, I'm still will always have a cult following for sure, just because of the art and the setting. Just taking out my cyborg for a walk. Come on, Gary. No. Are you enjoying your walk, Gary?
This is it.
I'm certainly enjoying it.
Decide what happens next.
Gary, don't get stuck, Gary. Mother, fuck off. You're not Gary. Yeah, thankfully she's stuck. We're good. Come on, Gary. No. This is Gary's walk.
Don't have enough gear to survive this.
This is Gary's walk. You're not invited to Gary's walk. It's called Gary's walk.
I think they spotted us.
You're not... Gary, I will come back for you, Gary. Come on, Gary. We're going this way.
I don't have enough gear to survive
That's not good. Gary, they're interrupting our walk together.
This is it. We decide what happens next.
Fuck off. How did I just lose like all my HP to that? Holy shit. Gary, I'm sorry. Alright, well anyway. Big, not really. I mean, we're getting foam slowly but surely. I have to break up the monotony of gathering fucking or playing the slot machine war with suicidal tendencies occasionally, which is not conducive for getting the bar. Yeah, I mean, Box, the tunnel system, so the way I will phrase it is that, like, I don't hate the tunnels, I hate how much the game asks you to spend time in tunnels. Right now, the script is basically flipped. The current amount of time they want you to spend in tunnels versus the bespoke maps should be flipped. Now, if you can't add content to the bespoke maps to make them larger, you need to make tunnels shorter, or you need to make tunnels just shorter, to be honest. That's the biggest thing.
I have a good feeling.
I mean, yeah, but biggest, I'm not generally a big fan of exploiting on stream, because then it becomes a stream about how to do exploits.
What happens next?
And typically speaking too, if you don't want something fixed so the people who can exploit it and have their fun because it's a PvE game, don't talk about it in public channels. Because that's how the railgun got fixed. Because people were advertising it literally fucking everywhere. I mean, to my knowledge, it's the same number as before, around 30 with about 3 coders. That's the to best of my that might not be accurate, but that's the best of my knowledge. That's the current anecdote around their size. It's also Box 2, just like in the way I view tunnels is that it should be an augmentation or like a way of creating stories, right? When you just introduce another system like this, it doesn't make it, I would say, all that interesting in regards to like the story you're telling with each run, right? Like, think of it this way. When you're playing a game like, I apologize once again for bringing up Tarkov, right? Because of the dynamicism, right, and the like different things players are doing on maps, it creates a lot of different like stories for each raid, right? Each raid's a little bit different because of the context of where the wipe is, what players are doing, is there any current like kind of trend going on, so on and so forth, right? Like, sort of kind of, remember, like, there was a big blowing up of, like, rats in Tarkov during that period, and, like, D3, the tunnel escape from, the military base became a shit show of, like, just rat traps. That creates a story, right? And that's the way I was kind of hoping tunnels would turn out, was that, yeah, it was kind of procedural in nature because you need to be able to iterate multiple versions of it very quickly. So I don't hate the fact that they did a tile set, but like it should have been smaller but with more diverse ranges of effects and things that change what's coming up, right? Like, let's say for example, you get like I want tunnels to be a way of injecting choice into the game, right? Where tunnels is basically kind of like a node in Slay the Spire, where you have different choices of things, right? You have like your high risk choice, your high risk, high reward, your low risk, and you have your skip. Like you can do things, and like they have outcomes on the upcoming map, right? And so it's kind of a way of injecting replayability into the bespoke maps by adding modifiers or conditional changes from events in the preceding tunnels, where players have some agency or choice in the outcomes. So we're doing well. We're just, you know, doing the foam grind. We took our dog for a walk too. Then some angry Karen mom got very upset with us and kept running us and chasing us around. So we had to leave. Yeah, I mean, like, the way I see it is, like, my rendition of tunnels would have been like, yeah, it needs to be procedural like this, because it needs to, like, this is a perfect system for, like, a module or, like, basically a template you create. And so the coders do the upfront work of creating the system and the modules and, like, the template, so the designers can just go in and just keep adding new things. And when you have like maps that are rooms of like 2 and 3 or 4 and 5 that are very short and small, you can do lots of variations and permutations. Oh, what is it over this way? Yeah, we're in D right now, so we're on the grind. Well, it's like my current issue with tunnels really is the game currently set up right now asks you to spend predominantly a lot of your time there because it's where the most loot is and it's where a lot of the progression or the quote-unquote progression items you need are. Foam. Like, I need foam, so tunnels C and D are the best place to do it because within tunnels C and D there are hundreds of containers where another map might only have dozens. And not even the right containers either. You can find foam on C and D. It's just RNG. You can find foam before then. It's all just RNG. There might be different weights depending on where you are in tunnels. I think C and D give them more likely. You can still get them in B, I think, though. I'm not sure if you can get them in A or not. So there is some weighting there, I think. But, like, yeah, just tunnel C, D, and then leave. Yeah, that's a good point here, right? There's not really a reason to go to most maps now. It is once again another moment of monkey paw curls. I have found foam in B. I have not found a lot of foam in B, but I have found foam in B before. I cannot recall ever finding foam in A though, but like I don't run a ton of A though, so I can't really, I'm not the authority on A. Just foam. We're looking for foam because we need it for progression purposes. Essentially, it's an item to use to craft a hideout upgrade or an innards upgrade, and we need a lot of it. No, yeah, like that's the thing, right? It just like, yeah. I don't think maybe there's systems on the bespoke maps that actually can facilitate that, though, which might be the problem. But yeah, I just. It's an issue of like it something like this needed to exist, but the unfortunate side is this that the way they've done it is just the monkey paw curls version of it, where it's just like, yeah, this is technically what we asked for, but not really. Or technically, what, like, this is technically multi-raid, but also it's like the worst version of it. Not really. I think I only have like, what, 23, 24 water? Maybe 26 or 27 with these 3. Not really a lot of water. They gutted the water system motto. There's no daily timer. There's no daily drain anymore. So, yeah, that's gone. Water is still kind of used for other purposes, but it's by and large been gutted. I mean, like, so I don't know if it's a philosophical or capability thing with Fundog. Like, they seem very system agnostic. So like, if I could change one thing, I would want to change their stance on systems to actually like want to do them more, or like want to connect things together. That's only if like it's not a we don't have the bandwidth, but more of like a we don't have the desire. If they do have the desire, I'd be like, yeah, give them more money and people so they can actually do those things, because the game desperately needs that. Or like, if they don't want to do something like that, then lead into that, right? Maybe allowed. Yeah, there's no timers in the game anymore. At least like there's no timers that like are a countdown for you. There are IRL timers still for crafting. So like crafting something might take some time, like 10 minutes or hours depending on what you're making, or days depending on if it's like an upgrade. But there's nothing that's gonna be like countdown and punish you. It's just gonna make you wait. The drones are dead. I pray to God they don't respawn immediately. Ratchet, I would mainly say it's partially because the maps are small and you're always fairly close to enemies. If they're far away, they do actually take a while to aggro, but like maps like Babel, they're so CQB oriented, or like close, like they're so packed in that like, yeah, they're gonna see you pretty quickly, because why wouldn't they? You're just in the open. Like right now, they're not aggroing to me. Like you can see them getting a little bit notified, right? But like because I got some distance, they're not immediately aggroed. But then we had drone popped up right in front of us too, right? Which creates an issue. Take some meds. No, I think it's more in the sense that the game is just telling you, beep beep, that if you use this, you get HKs. I think that's all it is. They will based off proximity, right? They don't always do that. Like, okay, so you have to keep in mind that, like, their AI in general seems to be pretty patchwork and pretty old and has some, like, very, like, ingrained old bugs into it. Because, like, that's literally what pot shots are, right? And that's been a bug for the longest time of, like, the enemies have issues with, like, target selection when they're firing. And that just seems to be an issue with the, like, the base AI. And they've done, I think, their best to fix it for the most part, but it feels like the fix wasn't actually, it was more of like, it was patching the symptom and not the cause, right? It still feels like it's still there, and you can probably still see that in things like how enemies aggro to you. Typically, by and large, if the enemies are closer to them than you are, they will shoot them instead. But there's always the weird issue, right, of, like, they won't do that sometimes, but that's just because, like, the AI can be weird like that. This is Babel. This is one of the newer maps, especially if you haven't played for an entire year. There's lots of new maps. I mean, Died is, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and take issue with that framing, and please understand when I'm saying this, I am a pretty avid critic of this game, but I still will defend, I think, kind of mediocre takes. It's an indie PvE game. It's not gonna have thousands of players consistently on Steam charts, and that's okay. Expecting that too for it to succeed is kind of, I feel, a bit unfair also. Like, it is a small indie game, and it is very rough around the edges, but it's still, it's also a PvE game though, right? It doesn't require servers to maintain it. People can play it offline in perpetuity, and Terraria has done a pretty good job, or like at least, like, you know, he spent a lot of time modding the game too, so like there is some longevity there. Granted, it's still UE5, so it's not like it has built-in mod support, but you know, he's doing his best. So I don't think the game will ever die, per se. It's not gonna blow up in any means, right? It's still a PvE game at the end of the day, but it also means it won't die. I mean, I like PvP, it just it requires the game. Like, I like PvP when the game actually takes in consideration the PvP loops and, like, how it interacts with everything else in the game. If PvP feels tacked on, I don't like it. Oh my god, this is like my issue with like Babel though, is that like, oh yeah, we have so few routes to the goddamn map that I'm just stuck here kind of sort of until it clears out a bit, if it ever clears out with those respawns. I mean, yeah, in the context of this game, they'll never be ready for PvP, right? Because PvP requires actual genuine, like, you don't pull a Marauders. You can't indie game your way into PvP being a cornerstone of your game. And like, PvP is like not something you can just tack on either. That's what Arc Raiders is figuring out, because sure, people are enjoying the PvP in Arc Raiders, but like, by and large, it serves no fucking purpose. Its only purpose is to prolong the longevity of the game by keeping it interesting and not stale. That's it. Finn. It has no systemic bearing on the game at all. It means nothing in the game's context. It's just something like, oh, I can kill people in this game. That makes it more interesting because of PvP. All right, fuck it, we're going.
We decide what happens next.
Well, yeah, there's no one, like, Arc Raiders by and large doesn't really have, like, there's no fear of loss in Arc Raiders outside of your own like mind games, because like Arc Raiders just gives you stuff endlessly. It is by and large a not very intense game, which I will say it does help in the PvP, like it does help in the cheating regard, because like who the fuck is going to RMT or cheat in a game that like really just uses PvP for the interesting factor, right, of making like interactions dynamic? It's not really there to be like a progression gate or a literally anything. Like it is, you have to understand, Arc Raiders added PvP because they tested out their PvE loop and realized it's missing something, it's boring. Like it's the fights are interesting until they're not, and then they get boring. There's no longevity there. And so they did the easier thing of adding PvP, because that means you're putting the burden on the players to provide all the interesting interactions as opposed to your actual game. All right, how much foam did I get there? I think I was on 28, so let me see how many we have now. Well, it's not even that free part. It's like that plus the fact is like nothing in the game explains why there's PvP. Ark is a very well-made game. It's very fun, but like it's more of a sandbox game, Ratchet, as opposed to, I would say, an actual extraction shooter. Like, cause like the way I see, and to be fair, I would struggle to call this game right now really an extraction shooter either. They have like the base, like outside of the repetitive multi go into map loops, they don't really have that much of the extraction shooter formula, because like the core tension point of extraction shooters, right, is that kind of intensity, and that doesn't stay very long in Arc Raiders. Once you realize that, like, it floods you with stuff. All right, okay, we have 33 foam. So if we had 28, we got 5 through that run. 17 more foam to go. Well, it's more in the sense in regards to Arc Raiders, like if they really wanted to have PvP be the cornerstone of their game to some regard, they could still have a very casual oriented game, but there needs to be some like systemic structure to their PvP at all, right? It doesn't make any sense with the lore in their game and the setup, like why it is the way it is. It's just a free-for-all PvP area. I mean, I think this is an alt account I made when Tunnels came out to have a new player experience. But like, I think I have most of my characters on my main, except for maybe Scab Girl and Old Man to 25. This one, I don't really prestige up on this account anymore. Okay, you have to understand. When you give me character skill trees like this, that force me to reset constantly, I can't be bothered to give a shit. They're not impactful enough outside of the base ones. I just cannot be fucking bothered. Alright, okay. But like even then, I just do not like their leveling. There was no reason, absolutely no reason to reinvent the wheel here. You do, but like it's by and large is like, do I want to level up and like have the experience of having to juggle my skills again for however many more levels? The 2K threshold is important, but like, do I care? Not really. Hey, Danger. Yeah, okay, I'll do it this once. So the way this works, right, is that there's currently 0 to 50 prestige levels, right? And the way it works is every single prestige has an experience capacity or cap, right? So like right now, I'm currently at max prestige for this character. I have 45,100 out of 45,100. And so I can't get any more experience. I can level these up, for example. I can do this. But like now I'm to the point where I don't have enough experience to level everything up. And so I can unlock prestige, and what that will do is give me more experience cap. It will make me a little bit faster in game walking speed wise and give me a bit more HP. So I'll do that now. And now my skills are reset. I have 0 experience and my cap has increased. And now I'm 13 prestige out of 50. And I cannot be bothered to give a shit because I don't want to have to redo this 50 fucking times. How much water do I got? 25. We can do one more run tunnel before I need to do another water run. I mean, Danger, they're kind of doing... I don't think they need to do that in the game, per se. They're working with, I think, Dark Horse Comics on a comic series, so, like, that is a great area to focus on the narrative, right? I don't think it needs to take place within the game itself. As on an IP level, sure, I can agree with that sentiment. Like, yeah, like, that's a good way of getting more investment is by making, like, stories people can, like, cling on to. Or just making cinematics too, right? And throwing them up on the YouTube channel, just throwing it like, just make fucking cinematics in your game. People will eat that shit up. But like, yeah, that's not really my problem with the game at all. Like, I would much rather, like, okay, I will say this. There are 2 paths here, I think, and they need to lean in, like, I think they're treading the middle ground right now, and they don't have the time and resources to tread the middle ground. Pick one or the other. Do you want to focus more on the game? Then focus on the game. If you want to focus more on the lore, then lean into that and stop caring like you care about the game. Or pretending to care like you care about the game. Yeah, and I think, like, Survivor, like, the way I would kind of go about it, is that, like, yeah, just make those videos, but make them more about, like, the IP as opposed to the, like, I want them to shift their focus, maybe necessarily, from the game itself and more on the IP front. Because essentially, like, it's kind of diversifying the risk, right? It is mitigating the like, if you put all your eggs in this big game basket, I think you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, right? RPGs like rocket propelled grenades. There's a grenade launcher. There's not like RPGs, no. I mean, technically speaking, there's a, okay. So part of the reason of getting the bar moto is that you get an upgrade or a schematic for a weapon called I think the AT Mass, if I recall. It's basically just an I win rifle. And it essentially does what the railgun does in a solo package. It is basically better than an RPG could ever be. Now, I kind of take issue with it just because of, well, yeah. I like the fact they're making their own in-game guns in-game, and like I like the fact that they're doing that. It looks great in that regard. I hate the fucking fact that, like, I know it's a sci-fi setting, but like, either very much lean into the absurdity of it, I guess, a bit more, and like how, well, let me say this. As of right now, all of the guns we see in the game seem very conventional, right? They all seem very grounded. That's the feeling you evoke when you use a bunch of IRL firearms and you see a bunch of conventional military firearms being used by the enemies, right? You get a sense of this, like, weirdly adjacent, like, realistic sort of setting that still got this grimdark aesthetic, but it's grounded, right? But then you put a rifle into the game that's basically just like a maybe like a bullpup size, like I'm not even sure, like maybe like a Barrett. It's smaller than a Barrett though, right? Like it's nowhere near as big as a Barrett, but it has the ability to take down these units you would previously need a railgun to kill. Can you see the issue I'm painting here, right? There's it's like logically inconsistent, right? It's not leaning into the absurdity of like very like space opera-y sci-fi of just like these fantastical weapons in small packages, because we should be seeing that on enemies around us. But then we get something like that, right? Of like we have this individual I win button of a firearm. Mom? What are you doing here?
Whittle them down and we can break out.
You're not that guy until you spend lots of money and you get a AT rifle that just turns the game upside down for no reason. But apparently no other faction has access to it. It's that weird thing. It's like the railgun thing too, right? Of like, oh hey, you know, we don't like all the factions are using these bitch ass weapons, and then us scavengers, we're real smart with our ingenuity. We can make railguns. In the tunnels I have, yeah. Actually, no, hold on. We're not ready yet. There's an entire extension we need to still need to go loot. Back down we go. Well, it's more mechanical in the sense like that'd be cool. I would love to see weapon teams also. It's more in the sense of like if we're going to have like these like small, compact, uber powerful weapons, it would help establish that those exist in the setting if you had enemies use those before we got access to it, right? Like it makes a lot more sense of like hey, this exists in the setting and like other weapons like this exist in the setting. Here's like the ruin they bring and like how like crazy they look and what the things they can do. Like the problem is like that's the problem of having things like conventional firearms in your game, right? And having them be everywhere and that's your main weapons across all of the areas is like why would I think there's these like fantastical sci-fi weapons in the game all of a sudden? You've done no foreshadowing or like or anything on that regard. Exactly, mechanical, and like that's the cool factor too, right? Of like if you could see enemies use these toys in the field and see what the power they bring, that would kind of like make you realize like, oh cool, like it would help you. It would help like be like, oh yeah, this is like a really cool feature I like. I'm getting this power now, right? I mean, UE5, I mean, I'm not sure if, I mean, they could easily be an asset pack. I'm not saying that they're not, right? But I don't know, it's weird. I know that like the AT rifle is like, I think Miles designed it and it looks cool, right? It's just the whole thing of like, you have never priorly established that this exists in the setting in this compact size, and you're making it as powerful as the railgun, basically. It kind of feels like in a sort of vibe of, I made this thing, I wanted to be grossly overpowered because I'm emotionally attached to it. They have nuked and like, no, they made tunnels a lot more empty now. Well, that's the problem too, beep beep or beep up, of like, apparently like that's the thing too is with the bar and with the new AT rifle, right? You only start seeing parts for it and like alcohol vaults for the bar once you already unlock those, right? It's kind of this weird thing of like, why is this locked behind those, right? I'm guessing they don't want you to hoard beforehand, but like, that's the dissonance part, right? Of like, why is this locked behind? It'd be like in Tarkov that you would go to a map and all of the LEDX spots would be like turned off for only you because you haven't progressed far enough yet. It sounds weird because it is weird. It doesn't make any sense from like a why is this suddenly here and not here? Or rather, and if they wanted to make that a thing too, right, they could ground it maybe some way, but I don't know. Like you could basically be like a, hey, because this bar you built is for literally anyone, they started requisitioning more alcohol to the field. And so like they can ground it canonically in the sense of like, because the bar now exists, you now have soldiers and officers now requisitioning more alcohol so they can drink it at the bar. And so now you see more of it in the field. Yeah, we are just scavs. Like, we are, by and large, we're supposed to be nobodies. Remember, like, it's still on their Steam page. We're not that guy, right? We're supposed to be basically no ones, just trying to survive. Yeah, but like, it's basically more about, because like these alcohol vaults don't exist as like an actual container until you unlock the bar. And the same thing, the components that you need to make the AT rifle don't drop until you unlock the schematic for it. I mean, you could just name it generically too, right? It doesn't need to be like a specific name anyway. You could do the identify route, right? Where you get a different name after you get progression for it, but like you could just make it like a generic name too and have that work. Foam. We got any foam? Okay, I've gotten at least one. I'll take it. All right, back our. Now we leave Tunnel C. Oop. Like an AC unit sound over there. I think no matter what, the tunnels ground's always going to hurt because predominantly all of the crates are in the tunnels. In comparison of density and like length, like tunnels have a lot more containers, and so like if you're trying to obtain an item, you kind of, where is he? He's supposed to be in here still. You kind of by nature just need to grind a ton of water. Interesting. So I wonder, so I think they're working on a new respawn system for at least tunnels. And so it looks like they don't do respawns anymore. Now the caveat of that though is I wonder is do things despawn still? And if they despawn, are they able to respawn again if you get close? Or could it be random, right? So I might be hearing the Orgamech in the other room though. He might just be in the other room. He might have never left. I'm hearing Angie noises over here, so maybe he's just over here. Oh, that's nice. Is he stuck? Boop. Okay, he's not stuck. Boop, 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 boop. It definitely made the like, they made the walking sounds for most units a lot louder now, which is I do appreciate. You can actually like hear things moving without seeing them, which is nice. Yes, this is Gary V2. I have a slight upgrade. Can you get electrocuted? I have to time this exactly right. Okay, is he still down there? Did he fall? I kind of was hoping that he fell. I don't see him down there. Yeah, but that'd be the thing though too, right? Where if they killed the unkillables, they should probably do a lot more damage to us. Hold on, let's see if he's down there still. I don't see him, but there's always the concern if I go down there and if he is down there, I'm fucked because I can't get it probably back up there. I think he fell off. I hope he fell off. It wouldn't be the first time we got the Orgamech to fall off a cliff. Like, it does literally just tickle when you take electricity damage. Yeah, music and art for sure.
Hard to breathe up here. But the mask helps.
Wait, it fell off? What do you mean it fell off? Reckoning's not in tunnels. Alright, let's just get through this map as quickly as possible. There's no reason to dawdle here. There's like 10 containers on this map that spawn at one time. Yoink. Oh, yeah, room.
Uh-huh. I think they spotted us. That's it for us.
Nope, yeah, the game is on sale right now. It is probably a good time to pick it up for sure. Once again, I will add the caveat, like, yeah, like, I would still recommend it, but, like, it is a game where don't expect, like, a very deep game experience, but more of, like, a museum of, like, going through art. I do indeed have a drill for this. If I can have these cyborgs politely fuck off.
As long as I'm the last one standing.
Yeah, I would hesitate to believe that. And like, you have to keep in mind though too, day and nights don't mean really all that much in this game. They're just a different variant of the map, right? They don't like have any systemic impact on anything outside of just like the map variant, really, right? Alright, we will have to definitely get the fuck out of here. We'll get the codex. This would be the great time for me to get a dog and die in the middle of a run.
Them down and we can break out.
I mean, by and large, yeah, I think, and that's kind of like where I'm coming from too in regards to like, if they're gonna lean into the more of the like grimdark safari, like museum sort of thing, like just lean into it fully and just like cut down tunnels to be very small and kind of just a little bit of extra fluff before maps. That or focus on tunnels maybe making tunnels a bit more unique too.
Maybe it'll be too busy eating something else.
No, they have been hypercritical. Every single patch they've done like a little bit of extra voice lines or audio here and there. It's all like very incremental. They added, I think, new sound effects for the unsilenced AK, which, unfortunately, I'm not sure if they got the memo of, like, no one's gonna run an unsilenced AK. Except for maybe, like, the new player who doesn't know any better.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
I hear HK, me no see HK. And I think I think I listened to it too. I don't think if I recall correctly, I think the new AK sounds really good. It's a damn shame you don't get to experience it at all. We'll go to the shooting range shooter. That's with an unsilenced AK. I think it's just the basic AK that actually got sound changed. I don't think it's a dog. We would have been dead by now. All right, tunnels D. I required the foams.
Has our luck run out?
Yes, yes, drones, go crazy. I'm sorry, fucking pardon? Okay, thank God. At least it's...
Eyes on us. Spread out.
They have no respect for scale at all. Absolutely no respect for scale at all. It's so fucking weird. How does stuff like this slip in? Why are you here? Floating. Hey, Game Chips, how's it going? Actually, we didn't finish that. Let me go back. Wait, what? I didn't mean to close that time. That wasn't on me. Foam. In here. Looks like we're good. AC container. Do, 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 do. Beep boop. I don't think they have any guns to depress. I will say though, considering, well, I mean, okay, so if it was a Mother Courage, I think is mainly Eurasian, not Euruscan. If it was Euruscan, I would say they probably don't have depression because Soviet guns don't depress very much. Like they're like it's a very common trend for like Soviet tanks to have very poor depression. But since it's Eurasia, it might have depression because I don't think the Chinese ones. I think the Chinese ones have pretty good depression on their guns. They can actually aim down. May I have some foam, please? Game shift, if there are, they haven't done them yet. If they're doing like a Christmas update, maybe they'll put them in. I mean, we do have the tree, right? The tree has been in the game forever. Granted, the tree also doesn't do anything. There's quite a few of those vanity upgrades, which I would say are much more appropriately priced considering how they don't do anything. Ratchet, they are like all things Ratchet, like we were mentioning before. The fix they have done to the tanks to stop them from flying has more been about managing the symptoms as opposed to really fixing it. And so the tanks do fly still, but they're very contained or controlled. They don't go all over the place anymore, and it's much rarer to see them actually fly. But the base reason why they fly is still in the game, because they still will fly occasionally, just in a very controlled manner. I am getting this strange sense that once they develop something, it becomes a black box, and they have to move on. Which is unsettling. Yeah, like I could definitely see mechs like yeeting tanks for sure. They were a bit too floaty though, right? Like it definitely gave off the air like it was definitely unintentional. It could definitely still be cool if like honed in correctly. But like by and large, like the mechs would fly and they would kind of bounce, and like they didn't really feel like they had the weight they should have, right? Well, yeah, if they wanted to like actually lean into like mechs like eating off tanks in the distance, it would need to be tempered and controlled, and probably a bit more systemic too. It was kind of like the typical way like tanks would fly is they would get the big shells from the tanks would actually have like physics on their explosions, I think, or impulse on their explosions, which would send the tanks flying, but not consistently, right? Because usually the tanks are like the mechs are shooting down into the tanks, which would mean they would go down into the ground and not up. There was scenarios there where they basically would get like pushed onto a ramp and then fly that way. By and large, though, the vast majority of the time, the tanks would fly from basically being stepped on and then having that physics kind of basically propel them into the air. Are you a dead end, or were you going this way? I'll go this way first. That's the weird thing, too, actually, but now that you brought that up. I wonder... So I'm sure you all, or at least most of you, can recall the Exo Lifecycle video. I'm very curious if that's ever their intent with the Exo, like to have it actually have that agility and strength and movement speed, or was the Exo video just kind of like, that's like, it's the very weird thing, right? Is like, you made an Exo video where it looked like the Exo was very like agile and very deadly, and then you just put it into the game and all it does is stomp around at like a very slow pace. It's still very deadly for the most part, but like, the two are not even remotely similar. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Hyper definitely feels like it's once something is done, it's move on to the next thing. I'm gonna throw out a hypothetical here. In no way, shape, or form am I saying this is the case, and do not interpret it as such. But logically, like, that kind of development makes me think they might have people who are doing decoding who might not be coders, who might be relying on some external tools, because it would make a lot of sense if they're doing that like sequential sort of development, why their previous systems become kind of a black box, because they were always a black box because that wasn't their code. Basically, I'm insinuating they might be using AI. I'm not saying as such, right? I have no basis for this claims outside of vibes. But like, the sequential no ever go backsies changing things kind of definitely feels like, you know, maybe they're relying on resources they don't have a lot of, or like, you know, they're using some external tools because they just need to get things moving forward. That also means that the downside of that is that the systems you create are kind of black boxes now, because you don't ultimately understand the codes being presented to you. Biggest, I've used the IEDs before. I will say I haven't used them in a very, 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 very long time. So if they have ever really changed, I wouldn't know. They're kind of a fun meme to use, that you can shoot them and they explode. Well, it feels, Timothy, like a black box because they, well, there seems to be some very ingrained bugs and quirks with the AI that no matter how much they try to iron it out, it just does not iron out. The wrinkle and the crease is always there. They're kind of fun because I haven't, to my personal knowledge, I haven't seen a big use in really bringing them in and setting them up. They can be used for certain theaters of war objectives, like blowing up the bridge, but outside of that, I don't really know a use for them. Well, I mean, they do have coders, right? But like, 3 coders is not a whole lot, especially if they have grand plans. Hello? There we go. I guess I was a little bit too close. Well, I'm glad you enjoy Gas Tax Samurai. That's what I'm here for, right? I'm not here for the gameplay. Here for the art, here for the music, here for talking. There are so many other slot machines I could be playing right now.
Just what I needed in my life. A reason.
What's that noise?
Eyes on us. Spread out.
I think I'm at like 33 foam. So I'm getting there. I got 33 sans this raid though, so like I have more foam now. So I'm getting there. I'm still a decent chunk away. I think I'm, for the most part, there on cash now, though, which is nice. I will say, there is something I have been avoiding or ignoring. I am insanely low on water. So that will take a bit to get up. Granted, like, the nice thing about that, though, is, like, it's not really hard. It's just time-consuming, right? Like, as opposed to the RNG factor in foam, the grind for water is just more of like a straight time investment, right? Of getting the quest, running elephant, coming back, and then, you know, getting that water in the bank. For that same reason, it's a bit more monotonous too, but at least it's linear. It's only for like, it's basically only for like, well, I don't know how long. They changed the time now to make it last a little bit longer, so it does not last. It will go away eventually. Exactly how long, I don't know. Back in the day, it was 4 to 5 hours. I know they made it a bit longer now to accommodate tunnels being more of a time sink. I just don't know by how much. So it's not permanent. No, yeah. Considering you can do that to things like, you can do that on Mech Trench and Mesa too, you can basically make those maps borderline unplayable for the most part. Especially if they were permanent, it would be brutal. Why is there an EXO on the fucking... God damn it. Technically speaking, as long as I get past the stomp, I'm okay.
This is it. We decide what happens next.
So that's what I gotta avoid, because I'm pretty sure that's like a one-shot kill guarantee no matter what. And it's like strictly proximity based too. Like, it will just do it if you're nearby, I think, not if it actually aggroes to you. I mean, I could probably kill it with what I got, but it is definitely a risk. Okay, there's a stomp. We're going now. All right, we were at 33. Yeah, we're not great on water. We're not terrible on water, but we're not great on water. All right. So we got 4 in that run, so 13 more. All right, first things first. I talked about this earlier, so I want to show it off again. Let me go to the shooting range. See, they changed the sound effect of the AK, and it sounds nice. It's got like a nice meaty sound and some echo to it too, some reverb. Like, it sounds really good. It's a damn shame no one gets to experience this though, because everyone with a silencer. Like, it does sound good and new and improved, but it's a damn shame that they only did the unsilenced version of it. Yeah, new players need to hear it for a very short amount of time before they realize that I need to run a silencer. Did they change the Glock silenced? Is it not the same? Is it not the same? I think it's the same, isn't it? Is it not? Alright. Do I have a silencer? Let's go over to Aramaki. Vendors, Aramaki, attachments, muzzle device. Where's that short little can? There you go. Actually, does it take a longer one? We'll just buy one of each just in case. It takes a short can though. There it is. Yeah, that looks right. that looks like how it goes. All right, let's go over to shooting range again. Does the regular Glock sound different though? We'll go back and try unsilenced maybe. No, that's not okay. I would personally that doesn't have a sound effect. That they removed the sound effect. That's not silence, that's nothing. Even James Bond gun has the actual sound effect for like the Hollywood sound effect for silencers. Yeah, you are correct. It is super silent. It has no sound effect. You are correct. It is cool to hear the actual like the shells hitting the ground. That is cool. That's a nice little like it's nice to be able to hear that for sure. Oh my god. Yeah, I get this strange sense that's probably not intentional. That's not a rework sound effect, that's a no sound effect. And there's no pew at all. It is, you don't even hear the slide act, like the action of the slide. Like that's how you can tell like it's definitely just missing, because there's no, like you don't even hear the slide action. You would at least hear that. There's a reason why like covert or silenced guns usually have like a lock so the gun doesn't cycle, or they just don't have a gun that can actually even cycle in the first place. You have to manually cycle it. I'm gonna use it because I'm just kind of genuinely curious, like what happens if I bring it in. Like it's stuff gonna break. Alright, got everything. We'll bring a drill. Got our stuff for our fast travel drone, which is nice. We got 2 of them, which is huge. Make a sea drone too while we're here. Got plenty of drones still. Water is a different story entirely, though. I'm kind of curious. Watch it be like unsilenced too in regards to aggro.
Oh, we should have chosen another exit.
All right, deja vu. You betrayed me, Black Light. You were supposed to give me foam after you. I think it's like it's gotta be the UV first and then the black light. So that's the pattern. So that, no, that could be foam though. Huh. I'll take it. I like to do newer accounts when big changes happen or when time passes, because it's harder to empathize with newer players when you have lots of stuff already. And so I can't erase my knowledge in how to play the game, but I can reset my account to at least experience like the state they're in.
As long as I'm the last one standing.
To some degree. And so, like, there was a pretty big sentiment around tunnels when it started out, like that, people didn't like the platforming was too hard, people were falling to their deaths all the time. So part of, like, playing a new account was removing the benefits for having extra movement speed with certain characters from having higher prestiges, and putting everything back onto, like, the baseline level. Well, like, Game Shift, it's hard. I know you're being facetious, but like, think of like the foam grind, right? If you came into this patch with like 30 or 40 foam, because you were just playing the game passively an hour or two a day after you spent it on the personal quarters, like the grind wouldn't seem that bad to you, right? Because you were already most of the way there. But for a player starting out with nothing, looking at everything that's like the game is asking you for is like a lot, basically, and it's all very plateau-y. This particular one is a paid cosmetic one. It's on their store. When you go to your character screen, it's not the character screen. When you go to like the ready room, there's a button next to the avatar to help you change skins, basically, if you have any. So if I want to, I can manually turn the skin on by doing that. Otherwise, if you have them unlocked, either by doing quests or like buying them, you can just naturally roll into them too when you die. Right now we're on 30, I think 7 sea foam. So we're getting closer, but it's been a grind. Yeah, the skin packs are definitely just like an optional way of supporting the developers, and like they are not necessarily like supposed to be like, yeah, like they can feel a bit off in regards to the vibe of the game for sure. Oh, Nexus ones are like the anime girls? Yeah. I've seen the same thing about the actual paid skins too. Like a few of like people like, typically I found like people will like usually like 1 or 2 of them and hate the rest. Like not even dislike, but like actually genuinely hate the rest. Yeah, the way that Miles presented it, or they presented it, right, was like basically in the sense of these are optional packs and like they're directly going to paying the salaries or supporting our artists, who are character artists who wouldn't have anything to do otherwise. And like, that's why I don't take issue with them, is that like, I am not going to punish you or get angry with you if you're like communicative about like what this is for and what's the intent behind it. It is literally like, it is basically like you subbing to a Patreon to give an artist money, right? It's more in the sense that, like, so I've talked to there was like one person who's very adamantly against it, and I've talked to them, and it seems like the reason why they're upset is they just don't feel like it's a good business practice to, like, it doesn't feel ethical to them to release a product like that's supposed to be more of like a after the games came out product, before the game is out, even if it doesn't impact the game itself or detract from the game in its development. And my personal opinion is I don't really agree with that, because once again, they were very upfront and clear of what this skin pack is for. It's optional, and it's to support the artists who wouldn't have work otherwise. That's it, full stop. And I've definitely given money to people for worse reasons, so I have no qualms with giving artists money too. Once again, like, I have issues with the game itself, but I do genuinely hope the IP succeeds. That is my stance. And it's why I want them to diversify so much. Please make merch. You have artists. It can't be that hard to have artists do merch. Those same character artists you were mentioning, can they just do 2D character graphics on tees or mugs or insert merch here? I guess the problem is, I guess maybe the core concept, the core reason, the problem behind it, right, is they're not centralized. And so the issue becomes one of probably inventory, is like, okay, like if we do this and we do merch, we're not centralized at all, so how do we do inventory? How do we do, like, shipping? Technically the answer would be someone's garage, to be honest, on the size that they're at. I'm not very familiar with the inner workings of comic book companies or anything like that, so I would not know at all. I have no idea if they, like, if they get if Fundog like licenses their IPs and they have like a creative director at all on there, but it's mainly them doing the writing, or it's like only them being the publisher. I have no idea. Maybe they're doing the comic book themselves and like the Dark Horse is only the publisher, but like, yeah, I have no idea of how that works. I so very unfamiliar with that realm. I know, like, there was a conversation brought up like a long while ago of like people tried 3D printing like some of the assets on this game, I think off like model rips, and I don't think it worked all that well. And like there were some conversations about like them giving us, hey Alex, like CAD files or like 3D model files of the actual units themselves. I think that's basically the model of what's it called, Trench Crusade. Like that's basically Trench Crusade's model, right? Is they basically just like they make the actual units and the rules and all that, but they actually just like basically sell you the CAD file for you to actually print out yourself if you want to. I guess I'm not sure what like program it is. I just know CAD. If it's Blender or whatever the 3D printers use as a base, you know, file to print out with. All right, our last little room here before we go to the next map, I think. Can I have foam? Yeah, and I mean, it probably reduces their ceiling as Trench Crusade. Like, it probably reduces, like... It does two things, right? It makes it a lot easier for them to probably grow. but it probably it reduces their overhead too, right? Because they don't have to like, you know, get all of that set up or hire someone to do that for them, printing wise, for like 3D models. But it probably does mean too that like on the monetization side, they probably have issues with monetization, or not, rather they're kind of capped on how much they can grow, which isn't a bad thing by means. It's like having small companies that are lean is very nice, makes them more manageable and agile. My god, fucking Games Workshop. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, there's quality issues, right? Because like, you know, that is the problem with doing just direct rips from this game from the files, is like it's not really the high, like there was a what's it called, like this was for like maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago. Someone ripped out like Toothy's file from the game and like opened it in like Blender and saw that it had like millions and millions of polygons and triangles and, you know, essentially things like, you know, things that look really bad in the sense of this is why performance is bad, because like look how many of the things the game's rendering, it's got so many fucking polygons, without actually understanding how nanite works. What they were probably seeing is the nanite mesh for the model, and that's literally what nanite does. Is nanite basically, for each mesh or model, it basically does that level of detail, having like millions and millions of polygons, but it will never ever 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 get even remotely close to ever rendering that at that scale. It just has all of them for reference, so it can render the ones it needs to or wants to, depending on your distance and angle. And like I've done some stuff in UE5 before, like I can like, and I show this to people too, in the sense of like, hey, this is a nanite mesh for a rock. It's a scan, it's a mega scan, so like it is a very high quality base file. Like the base file of a rock was like fucking 3 gigabytes. Like that's how much detail is on this rock, right? And it went down from 3 million polygons to when the nanite mesh was on, it was like 10K being rendered at the time. Like that's the scale we're dealing with here, right? In the sense of like, yeah, when you do a direct rip from a game, you're not going to actually get the source file. That's very important to note. You're going to get the weird interpretation of it from the engine. All right, continue on our way. I'm not sure games without probably doing it in engine. Like that is the crux though of like of ripping files, right? You don't really get that level of control that you would from being in engine with it, right? Well, yeah, like so nanite is basically automated LOD, right? Gas stacks, right? It is like, cause okay, so traditional level of detail, right? Basically meant for every single object in the game, an artist would have to go in and essentially say, okay, at 10 meters, like at 0 to 10 meters, you see the highest level of detail for this object. And then let's say from 10 meters to 50 meters, you see the next level of detail, which is a bit, you know, less fidelity, because you don't need to see all that much detail it doesn't need to be rendered when you're farther away. You won't be able to see it anyway. And then, you know, 50 to like 200 and 200 and plus, right? It's why, for example, in like games like Skyrim or Oblivion, the trees got really like 2D or spritey when you looked farther and farther away, right? Because that's literally level of detail. But the important thing to note here is, right, is before like things like nanite, an artist would have to go in and manually do 4, 5, 6, however many level of details they wanted for each object in the game. Very slow, very time consuming. Now, nanite gets around that by basically automating that with its system. Now, it has pros and cons. The cons of nanite is storage. It's why UE5 games typically have very large file sizes, right? Because nanite usually wants very high fidelity original models, essentially, right? So it can use that as a reference. And so those base raw files are like multiple gigs or like megs, right? Like hundreds of megs, multiple gigs. Very, very expensive storage-wise. Now they have done something else right in the background now, like where they have now compressed their textures and assets, right, to make it less taxing on the size of the game. I think the game was originally like 120 gigs, I think, before they did it, and now it's like 50, I think. Because now they have decided to actually compress the textures to help with the storage side. I would still consider 50 gigs to be pretty like large for a game like this, but considering their artists, it's not crazy. Okay, 40 gigs, yeah. And the extra benefit of them doing compression also, because their original consideration, they didn't want to make the game files the game size too large, is now they have more room to do stuff with, right? They can actually add more assets to the game and not have to worry about storage space all that much.
As long as I'm the last one standing.
And I think by and large too, I think Jeff was very concerned, I think, when they did that patch, that people were going to have very adverse effects. I think by and large, right, like, unless you were barely scooting by it beforehand, that the actual compression technology didn't really affect anyone in any meaningful capacity. Unless you were already struggling to play the game in the first place. I didn't see a lot of sentiments around people saying like, I can't play the game now because of you did X, Y, and Z. You did this compression, now I can't play the game. I think there was a case here and there, but like once they posted their specs, like you could tell like you were barely running this game in the first place. It was a miracle you were running it before. Why are you so tanky? This corner of this map has always been bad performance-wise. I think they've done a good job. Like, it used to be worse, I will say that. It's still kind of not great. Oh no, like, I mean, they did talk about in their anniversary video, like, that's one thing they kind of touched on was, like, reworking older maps. This is probably... I would love to see, like, Frozen Swamp or Mesa get more stuff on them, because I like those maps a lot. But like, if I was gonna go from strictly like a needs basis, like what map needs the most love the quickest, it's Stairway. It's such a fucking bad map. Looks visually it looks amazing. Gameplay wise, it's fucking like, what's the proper metaphor here? What's like something it's like unseasoned tofu. It's just like eating just straight, just unseasoned, just baseline cooked tofu. Check just farming C and D. Just like start tunnel C, do tunnel C and D, and then leave and come back and do it again. If you loot all of the containers in tunnel C and D, and you don't die all that much, you will almost always get enough materials to make a new fast travel route, if not more. I will at least, the Babel has some actually interesting like aspects to it, but by and large, yeah, it's too small. Like, at least from a gameplay perspective, like there is a degree of choice in Babel. Stairway, there's none. There is it is just go up and down the staircase. At least Babel offers a few alternate routes if you have a P jump. Yeah, just do the secret foam level. Make their own cal level, but foam. All right. So we know that way will take us, I think, that way will take us to downtown, I think. try not downtown, but to Babel. So let's go a different route this time. We're still gonna loot this area over here, but I think we're gonna go over to Babel instead. Not try downtown and see if we can find it. Because yeah, that takes us to a wait, that takes us, yeah, I think that takes us down to where we're going. I'm glad you enjoy it, Ratchet. I've forgotten that. We're gonna go this way. To be fair, BB, it does feel like a fucking convenience store, like an actual Home Depot at this point. Just endless crates of things. Alright, let's go over yonder. I need to be a little bit careful. I do have a lot of weight on me, which means my stamina is going to be pretty much shit if I keep sprinting. Which is, it's basically just a jump warning. Oh god, a Spirit Halloween, yeah. Let's go up there first. No problem. Up we go. Yeah, I mean, like, so, no, I think Stairway needs it the most. To be fair, they all need some touch-ups. Probably Frozen Swamp the least. I still want to see more, like, done to Frozen Swamp. Oh, almost off. I don't really do all that much home improvement, so... whatever's closer. If you put them both side by side, the same distance away, and I had to choose, I would probably visit both. Like, I would just change it up for changing it up's sake. I don't really get loyalty to a brand like that ever. Actually, let me rephrase. Like, I am more concerned about the quality of the product than I am about the brand. Now, I will say, like, there are some brands that I will, like, seek out because they make quality products, at least for now. Typically, the problem is, though, is that, like, they make a quality product and then they get bought, or, like, people invest in them, and then they make a shitty product and they aim a profit. Like, I mean, I wear a decent amount of Carhartt, and I like Carhartt because Carhartt actually, like, makes quality shit. But, like, I wouldn't feel beholden to them if they suddenly started, like, compromising their quality. I don't want to go to cemetery. Yeah, we're not fucking going to cemetery. Actually, fuck it. I don't want to go back anyway. All right, we're going to cemetery. Yeah, we're just trying to run through anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. We can just listen for dog and run by him. Yeah, guys, come on, guys, be quiet. You have to listen to the dog. Hello? Mr. Dog. It's just not really worth the risk. Like, by and large, with like downtown or Babel, there's not really a way for you just to get one shot killed. And then like, and even if the risk of actually dying to dog is like 1%, that's 1% that doesn't actually exist on the other maps, right? Oh god. It's simple. We take the adrenaline and we leave. Is there static in my microphone? Did it just like suddenly start happening? Only on YouTube? Ugh. Let me... That's weird, that just suddenly started. Why did it suddenly decide to do that? From the game itself? I don't see static. Anyway, hold on. I have an idea. Do you still hear static right now? I just muted the game audio. Is it coming from my mic or from the game? If you hear static right now, it's coming from my actual mic because I just muted the game audio. Yeah, it seems to be affecting YouTube only, Biggest. You're not hearing static right now. Okay, yeah, so it seems to be coming from the actual map. Weird. Yeah, let me leave the map. Maybe it's a map thing? That's very peculiar. Yeah, so I turn it back on. So it's a... I can't hear it at all. That's the weird thing.
Wake me up in a year.
Yeah, that's very weird. I'm not hearing it, and it seems to be game specific. I wonder if it's map specific though. Do you guys still hear it? Like right now, do you guys still hear it when we're back in the lobby now? Interesting. I have a solution. I will be right back. Okay, I should be back now. I killed OBS and then restarted OBS. Is it fixed now? Okay, yeah, OBS has been weird recently where I've like, I've had to kill OBS a few times now. Very weird. All right, I think we need water. Yeah, this is not the first, like, I have kind of learned the trick now. If I ever have audio issues, it's typically OBS, and so I just need to take OBS behind the bar and shoot it. And make it come back, and then it's better again. All right. Wait, we only got one foam off that? I feel bamboozled. Got plenty of motors though, I will say. That's another fucking 2 fast travel drones. Alright, it's time for the water tax quest line. Alright, we need... That's good. Now we just need water wars. whatever it's called. It's not Water Wars. It's what's it called? Where are you? I'll know it when I see it. It's on. There we go. Hidden water. There we go. The reason why we picked this up, because the reason why we're doing this for water is A, because it gives 5 water for reward, but this spawns, I think, 5 or 6 containers of water in one small area on Elephant Mausoleum. So it's just really good for that, because it forces that spawn to happen. All right, RPK. Where's my 7.62? We don't need a whole lot here. Yeah, the reason why I like, because I've been doing this Tunnel C and D grind for a lot, it's water negative unless you do quests. So like, I just constantly slowly drain out of water. And typically it's not a big deal. Like the only, I think, threshold you need to be worried about is like around 20, because that locks, I believe around there locks, the guy who trades or sells containers for your rigs. So as long as you stay above that, you're fine, and there's not really much reason to hold lots of water above that unless you're trying to farm water for money, or if you need to like craft an upgrade that requires a certain amount of water to have on hand. Okay, this layout feels a bit different, I think. Yeah, I mean, we're doing that right now. Gunhead is the other option.
Shred 'em fast.
But I'd rather just run the healing just in case. Yeah, if Gunhead is faster, Gunhead can't heal, and I would rather have the healing when doing this than having the little bit of extra speed. Now, that might change when I'm actually doing water farming, but we're just doing one run to get this out of the way so I can do more foam farming. Like, if the goal was like long-term efficiency, definitely Gunhead. If the goal is just to make sure this succeeds and I get this run done, I'm gonna probably choose a little bit safer option, even if it's a little bit slower. Oh no, it is very painful over Scav Girl, right? See, I have the reason like not to play a Scav Girl though, because I just don't want to fucking level her up ever or deal with her. Because when I was showing you guys before the leveling up system in the game, it's actually worse with a few of the characters because they lock the essentially the upgraded rigs that you would wear on certain characters are actually locked behind their level ups, which means every time you level up with them, you have to regain that ability to use that rig. And that drives me personally fucking up the wall. So I just cannot be bothered. I mean, we're really looking for Elephant Mausoleum. He is. We have a different tile set for Tunnel B right now, so we need to figure out where our Elephant Mausoleum tile set is. We'll have to do some looking around. That's the extraction back to the Innards, I believe. I mean, Old Man's ability to, like, he does have, like, maybe one of the best actual unlocks in the game by letting you heal for more off a single container or a single thing. Because, like, so the reason why that's very powerful is you can't, healing takes time first and foremost, but the healing you get is pretty slow, and old man can probably actually out heal certain damaging modifier or certain mobs with just his healing bonus, right? Because he gets, I think, eventually 25% extra healing from his shit, right? Which is actually quite a lot. And like in comparison to like 5% accuracy it's infinitely better. Yeah, if you're trying to do stealth-oriented quests, god damn it. Scav Girl is great because her like part of being stealthy in this game is absolutely speed, in my opinion. But the other part is definitely the fact that you can run the actual mini backpack on her, and it basically means that enemies can't hear you, which is a very useful feature to have. All right. Ow. I'm really praying this is Elephant Mausoleum. Oh, yeah, that's Caster Labs. Caster Lab fucking freaks out. It might restore itself. Hold on. That is the side effect of nuking OBS from orbit midstream. Caster Lab gets upset. All right, it should connect eventually, knock on wood. It will take a second for it to actually load in, hopefully, but it should eventually get shit together. I'll give it a few and play with it a bit more if I need to. But no, yeah, there's side effects for nuking Twitch from orbit. Alright, it should hopefully be seeing YouTube chat now, knock on wood. Famous last words. No problemo. Alright. Okay, I only have one ask. Please, for the love of God, be Elephant Mausoleum over here. Please do not make me backtrack. I beg of thee. I'm hopeful too that just like if it is not Elephant Mausoleum, we're not fucked and have to go all the way back where we came. I'm hoping there is some interconnections that we could use and not have to go all the way back. I'm not sure if there's such a thing as running fast with yield Bagman. There is just running. Alright, moment of truth. Please. Thank Christ. Yeah, no, like, yeah, the exos, that was always fun. It kind of just turned that, like, it basically said bring a grenade launcher or you just don't get to go this way. It was very brutal. Alright, Mr. Water. Up we go. Unfortunately, though, I will say that particular tile set isn't really conducive for doing water runs. There's a few much shorter ways to get to Alpha Mausoleum on some tile sets. That is not one of the quicker ones. Yeah, it's RNG. It's not guaranteed. I don't think even with the quest it gets guaranteed. It's guaranteed either. I think no matter what, it's RNG. Hey robots, how's it going? Don't mind me. I said don't mind me. You're very clearly minding me right now. Alright, we are good. That's like kind of the whole thing too with like RNG, the biggest, considering it's like a 5-10% chance getting night shifts. It is, you can have these like long stretches of bad luck and not get them, but also it's like it's still likely enough where you can actually see them back to back occasionally. I kind of personally hope they just do away with the RNG aspects of night shifts and just make the reason, like make a reason to actually do them, and just make them high risk. Because like I actually think you could probably jack up the actual lethality of night shifts by a ton if you just make them optional to provide incentives for doing it. Like part of the reason why you can't necessarily make night shifts all that crazy is it's kind of unfair to make it like pure RNG based on if you get it or not. Because you can't prepare for doing night shifts that way. Hey, Chirble. The not so stealthy kill. Who, what? Who spotted me? Clearly wasn't that guy. Am I blind? Am I blind? Oop. Alright, there's one. Yeah, we get you get HKs for having 4 water. If you pick up 4 containers of water, you get HKs. It's one of those hard values. Aqua. For water. Any map, if you pick up 4 water, you get them. But like, the only thing is like, it's because, it is because, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Because most rigs don't actually can hold 4 large items, the only time where you ever actually see it is if you're using the rack. Right? This is the only instance where you can actually see that. Oh yeah, like well, weirdly enough, like yes, but also those pictures can actually just spawn, or they do just spawn in those containers on Mesa, and picking up those pictures, even without the quest, will still cause those HKs to spawn too. Like, you don't even need the quest, it just happens. Oh, hey, what the hell? Well, it's funny too because like they're worth fucking nothing. They're like 17 credits. Actually, more water.
Not too shabby.
Like they are actually just genuinely worthless. And the context of them too is that like these pictures are pictures of like some scav's old loved one, I think, which means why do the factions care? We're not here. Like, why do it's not worth a whole lot? 17 credits. It's the context behind it. It's like, you know, a scavenger's picture of their wife. Why does every faction care? It's an age case if you pick them up. Alright, we have acquired our aqua. That's part of it, and then we had our quests done too. Alright. And we should be getting water for a few more runs now. Yeah, at least 2 more runs. Let's do it. Oh god, Shaman's level 0 for me. Ugh. You know, let's do a gunhead. We'll do some high risk stuff here and play a gunhead. Or teddy bear gunhead. Let's do 5-4 frags. I actually have ammo for that. Oh, we have both, so we're good. What level are you? Oh, you're level 1 too. Oh god. I really have only played fucking Maskman on this account, I think, and Bagman. I think, yeah, mainly Maskman. I used Bagman a bit too, because I was like, okay, worst case scenario for jumping and platforming in tunnels would be Maskman, or sorry, Bagman. So let's give him a try.
One day they won't need us, but not today.
So many motors. I guess on the plus side, because like foam is relatively rare and harder to get, at least the motors seem like not so rare now, right? It seems like, oh yeah, those fast shovel drones aren't too hard to make anymore because they drop so much more than foam does. Let's go this way this time. I know there's a tile set where this elevator leads to a dead end. I don't think it's this one, but I know there is like a tile set that actually has that. I mean, I do see like the actual like location in this direction, but I have been punked out before. I'm not sure if I can believe it just yet. All right, up we go. Naturally, yeah, that one is, we know that one is 100% Stairway, right? Because we've done Stairway a few times now, so this has to be Frozen Swamp, but I'm not sure I'm guessing this is the way to get to it, but also at the same time, there is, like, I know there is definitely a tile set where this elevator takes you to, like, a dead end. And the thing about the compass on the top right is the compass doesn't tell you height, it just tells you direction. So there is the off chance where this could be the dead end. Okay, this is promising actually though, because I do remember that like the dead end tile for this one is actually like right after you get up to. So we are good. We'll do our looting. How much more is over here, actually? Let's go explore the sides quickly, too. Ow. I hear drones. I will worry about that when I get there. If I get there. One problem at a time. I don't know how much alcohol I have either, so we'll cross that bridge when I get there. It's also like we don't have infinite space either in our backpack. We don't have the pack mule, so and alcohol does take a lot of volume, or sorry, I think weight. I think not volume. That was always like limiting factor on like doing cyborg farming in Ashton Mesa, is that like eventually the alcohol would fill up all your bags. What if that's still a thing, actually? I haven't done Mesa in a while for that exact reason. Oh, foam. Alright, are you a dead end? Unless you have loot. Okay, dead end but loot. I'll accept you. Just in case. Foam. Oh, okay, well. Okay. I can't actually get around this way. See, this is like what I like most actually, because like I like these interweaving paths and optional ways you can actually use. Because it's like this upper path that crosses this chasm isn't always available to you, especially if you're on this side. You have to jump up first with P jump. But I really like pathways like that, right? Those pathways where it might be one way, or like it's two way if you have something, and so on and so forth. Or like optional pathways too that like don't require you to go that way, but give you like maybe benefits of like maybe like loot or exploration or so on and so forth. I will say, I know like these are supposed to be like, not canonically, but like maybe like gameplay wise, like loot rooms, basically, like, you know, rewards for exploration. But I will say, like most, we got foam this time. By and large, I have been burned by these rooms so often. Maybe they have the alcohol vaults though we need though eventually in the future once we get that unlocked. Maybe we just don't have the containers yet for them. I will take my aqua to offset the cost a little bit. Oh, they do? Okay. Well, I guess we'll see that when we, I mean, that's a reason to go to the surface. I guess once or if we get the bar unlocked, we can start seeing how that works.
Under threat. Contact all.
Alright, let's continue on our way through. Up we go. May I have some foam, please? Spare ammo. Still need to do all the Lotus quests on this account too. I can't recall. Did it? I think these explode too, even when you're not close. Like, or sorry. Hold on. Yeah, they do. Interesting though, it doesn't actually explode the one next to it. That's wild. So like, I guess you can use like IEDs as a trap, but I'm not really sure how much damage they do, and if they can even like do things to unkillables, which is like, I guess you can use it against like the mechs. Which isn't bad, but like, is it worth the risk and the hassle of setting up a trap with like IEDs when it's probably just easier to use a grenade launcher? Or I guess the AT rifle now. I'm gonna only look, I think, for actual storage containers now. I'm gonna be a bit pickier on my containers I'm opening. Like, it can spawn in those, I guess, but it just doesn't feel as likely as the ones that are actually just supplies. Womp womp. Alright, there's our way out. That's definitely gonna be frozen swamp. Have I looted you yet? I did. Check out you. Nope. All right. Well, I tried. I think this is like one more optional little like room. I think this connects to another like loot room, and then we're finished here basically. Oh no, it's just a dead end. Okay. Foam. Damn. Your medical supplies, your ammo. I don't need either of you. All right, swamp we go. Yeah, I think swamp's just gonna be a run through. There's not really much reason to stay on swamp. We have no quests there, and it's a pretty dangerous map. And all the stuff we want in Sentinel D anyway. Tunnel D we go. I guess on the plus side, we can actually stretch Gunhead's legs here and just not stop sprinting through the entire map. He's a very fast boy over long periods of time. I wonder if there's a certain point. I'm curious if there's a race between Scav Girl and Gunhead. Is there ever a point with Scav Girl in Prestige and Experience where she can actually stay faster than Gunhead over a long period of time?
Protocol 726. Close combat. Authorized.
Let's just go around. No, don't spot me. I said don't, hey. I was trying to avoid you. Okay, I might have forgot about the actual downside of Gunhead, and that is the third-person recoil. Because it's very, very janky. So the problem with third-person recoil in this game is that it has that very egregious, like, first jump up, which basically means for like the first like 5 bullets, only really 1 or 2 of them are going to connect. Thankfully, though, you can just go semi and avoid that, though. Come on. God, these guys do a lot of damage. Come on. Are you dead over there? Okay, I think he is. Alright, let's now not pick fights. Who spotted me? What the hell? They just appeared out of the ether.
Threat removal imminent.
Well, I will say the spot that we were in is a pretty renowned spot for like being the crossroads for lots of different respawns. That's why it's kind of a dangerous spot to sit in for too long. Like, that area that we are in is definitely absolutely cursed. Alright, let's not miss this jump, please. Alright, we are good. Fucking trains are comically large. Oh, I'm not, this is a run-through map. We're not here to do looting. We're here for foam. I only care about the foams. Alright, we should be able to drop down over here. Not take too much damage, hopefully. Can I drop down here? Uh-oh. I can definitely drop down this way. We've had a few of them. We've had a few tease us too, though. There's definitely been a few liars today. That was a little bit close. Those water thieves hurt, man. They got the deeps.
It is as you humans say. A good day.
Alright, let's go acquire lots more foam. So we've done Cemetery, we've done Babel. We should, from Process Elimination, it's still here. Why are you here? At least on the plus side, it's not fucking solid. Imagine if it was solid, how bad that would be. I guess you're just fucking stuck then. Alright. I require the foams, please. Yeah, it mainly seems like it's like an RNG prop. Like it's not a prompt that's always spawned or there. So it just seems that like for some reason or like
Dumping targets.
hold on. We good? We good. I have the money. I think the only thing that's actually like sus fruit par is gonna be the actual water. We broke up the monotony of doing spam tunnels a while ago for most of these streams by doing codexes. We're now to the point where we don't need codexes anymore for the first bar, so it's really just water and foam now. We can always use more money in the future too, because we do need to get the other bar upgrades, but like for right now it's just mainly get the first bar upgrade. Yeah, there's a few places on this, like on these tile sets, that you can kind of see sort of from outside of the map looking in, and it does kind of just give you this feeling like you're like floating in the ether basically. It's weird. Kind of where we are, like we were just at, actually kind of gives you that vibe too, actually. Oh, I'll show you what I mean. And there's basically areas where it's like it's not high enough detail, and the skybox there's not foggy enough where it looks like you can see very far away, and so it looks like you're just like floating essentially. I think we've gotten a little bit of foam, like 1 or 2 so far from Tunnel C. But we just started Tunnel D, so it will be a bit before we find more foam. Okay, this tile set doesn't have it. Sometimes this wall isn't here, and it can feel like you're like looking into forever. Hold on. Over here, maybe? Okay, this one they've closed off. Okay. But yeah, there's a few areas of tunnels where it can definitely look like you are just floating out in the void. This one seems to be closed off pretty well, though. Up we go. Yeah. All right, let's go this way then. I don't need medical supplies at all. I could loot the regular crates like that to see if they have foam, but by and large, it's really just going to be the loot storage crates that don't have foam. I don't need all that much else right now. Foam. Oh, god damn it. There's the tease again. And I think this already shows us that I think this leads to a loot room, which may or may not have things that we actually care about. Yeah, loot room. All right. What you got for me? Is it the answer be foam? I'll take the drill, why not? It definitely feels, if I see drone parts like that, it definitely feels like it can't have the drone parts and the foam in the same container. It's either one or the other. They seem mutually exclusive. Yeah, womp womp. Alright, down we go in a second. Yoink. And over and under. Yeah, and down we go. Don't need that container at all. Alright, what do we got to the sides here? Take a drill just because it's worth a decent amount of money if I were going to sell them in mass. Yeah, so now we these are drone parts. I don't think we're going to be seeing any foam, right? Yeah. Though, that UV light bulb usually shows up before foam. Such a weird pattern. Nice. Good old monkey brain. That might be 5 foam we have thus far, actually. It's a pretty good dent. Are you ammo? Yeah, ammo. I don't really care about either of you. All right. Over we go. That felt very close for comfort. Or too close for comfort. Alright. Oh, up. Up we go. Alright, what map are you? I feel like this is downtown. I don't remember going this way before. Are you downtown? No, you're Babel. Okay, whatever. Though I will say, Babel as this character does not sound all that enticing.
As you humans say.
This map definitely screams you should have extra HP to work with. Yeah, being Babel on this character seems very precarious. Alright, it's crossed now. I think speed's gonna be the name of the game too here. We just cannot take our time here on this map. Yeah, but like the amount of aggro you can draw on this map is actually fucking ludicrous. And you don't really get a lot of avenues to avoid them. So like it is kind of a game of attrition here, right? Where like we just gotta be quick and getting it out. and just hope we don't get bad lucked. Can't handle that. Interesting.
Threat removal imminent.
Down we go. Anyone in here? Nope. All right, we're good. Since you're free, why not? Like, that's what I mean by interesting too. Like, this is why I can somewhat tolerate babble, is that like that loop is interesting, right? It's a one-way loop unless you bring an extra tool, and that's it can be used either way. That's interesting to me. All right, no EXO either. This is great news. It's been a very tame battle thus far. Yeah, Babel can be a real shithole. It does seem like they have acquiesced and removed the sync kill for now from the drone. I think they maybe finally realized that the drone sync kill was kind of just shitty on a unit that has no counterplay and is everywhere, and also has a gun. I believe we were at 38, so let's see where we're at now from 38. I think we got 5 that run between the 2 tunnels, but let's see. We only got 4? I thought we had 5. Well, 4 is still a good dent in it. That leaves us with 8 remaining. And yeah, we have the money. We just the 80 days of water is not looking great. That's gonna be a grind. Thankfully, I mean, like it's like 12 to 13 water per run if you do elephant run, which is not too terrible. Anyway, that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow for the last stream of the year. I'll be outside of town, or I'll be out of town after that. So tomorrow will be the ultimate, or the penultimate, or I guess actually the ultimate stream to finish, I guess, the bar before I leave for break. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, and take it easy. Bye all.